The rescue story of the abandoned yellow puppet. That afternoon, the sun was not scorching, but the air was heavy and hot. Streams of vehicles rushed through the busy street. People were caught up in their own lives, and few noticed that in a small corner of the park, beneath the shade of the trees, a tiny creature was trembling. It was a little puppy, once golden but now ragged and thin, its belly hollow, its round eyes brimming with fear and longing. It was chained by an old rusty rope to an iron post, curled up as if waiting for the smallest miracle. My phone buzzed. On the other end was the hurried voice of a woman I didn't know. "Sir, there's a little puppy abandoned at the park near the intersection. It looks so pitiful. People pass by and look, but no one stops. Could you please come help?" I froze. For a moment. In the rush of life, hardly anyone has time to notice such a small being. But for me, stories of abandoned animals always make my heart ache. I grabbed a bottle of water, some sausages I had, and hurried toward the park. Inside me swelled a strange mixture of sorrow and hope. When I arrived, the scene before my eyes made me stop short. The tiny yellow puppy, covered in dirt, gazing at the passing crowd with wide eyes. It didn't bark, didn't growl, just lay quietly, trembling from time to time. The chain around its neck had left raw red marks on its fragile skin. People walked past. Some looked with pity, others shook their heads, but then continued on their way. I stepped closer, careful not to frighten it. At first, the puppy shrank back, its ears flat against its head. But when I knelt down and held out a small piece of sausage, it hesitated, then slowly walked forward. Its eyes flickered with the faintest spark of hope. Sniffing the food, its wet little nose twitched before it began to eat hungrily, as if it hadn't eaten for days. I smiled, gently pouring some water into a cup and stroking its back. To my surprise, it didn't resist. Its whole body shook as if overwhelmed by relief. In that instant, I knew an invisible bond had formed between us. Carefully, I worked to free the chain. It was so rusted that my hands bled, but when the last metal link finally came loose, the little dog pressed its head against my hand, a clumsy but heartfelt thank you. I lifted it up. Its body was feather-light, fragile and thin. I whispered, "From now on, you won't be alone anymore. Come with me." I rushed it to a nearby veterinary clinic. The doctor gave it a long look, then sighed softly. "It must have been abandoned for quite some time. Luckily, you brought it in now. Malnourished, filthy, but thankfully no serious illness yet." Relief washed over me. The cleaning began. The puppy was placed in warm water. The layers of dirt slowly rinsed away, revealing soft golden fur beneath. Each splash of water made it flinch, but it never resisted. Perhaps it understood these hands meant to save it. The doctor carefully dried it, checked its paws and teeth, vaccinated it, applied ointment. Through it all, the little dog lay quietly, glancing up at me with trusting eyes that seemed to say, "I believe you." When we left the clinic, I wrapped it in a small towel and held it against my chest. Outside, the city bustled on as usual, but within me was an unusual calm. The puppy nestled against me, breathing softly. Perhaps for the first time, it felt truly safe. The days that followed marked a new journey. On its first day in my home, the puppy was timid, circling a corner before lying down quietly. I prepared a soft bed, a bowl of rice mixed with peaty, and clean water. At first it hesitated, but soon, as the smell wafted up, its eyes brightened. Slowly it ate, finishing every bit. I sat watching, overwhelmed with tenderness. Day by day, miracles unfolded. From a cowering little dog, it began to romp around the yard. After several baths, its golden fur shone once again. Its eyes sparkled with joy. I named it Vieng Gold, a simple name, yet full of meaning. It reminded me of sunlight, of warmth, of the life I hoped it would always have. Every morning, when I opened the door, Vieng dashed out, wagging its tail endlessly, barking softly as if to greet me. Every afternoon when I returned, it stood by the gate, eyes glimmering, waiting for the moment to leap into my arms. Sometimes it carried out an old slipper, tugging at it with its mouth, as if to invite me to play. And in those moments, laughter filled my once quiet home. I often thought back to that afternoon in the park. If I had been late, if no one had called me, what would have become of Viang? Perhaps it would still have been lying there in loneliness, or worse, succumbed to illness. That thought made me realize my choice that day wasn't just about saving a puppy. It was about preserving a small spark of faith and compassion. Now, Viang is part of the family, no longer an abandoned creature, but a loyal, carefree companion. The wounds on its body have healed, and the wounds in its heart are soothed by care and love. As this story closes, I want to share this. In the rush of life, small acts may seem insignificant, yet they can change the fate of a being. Saving a dog or a cat is not only about giving them life, it's about planting seeds of kindness within ourselves. And one day, those seeds bloom into flowers of happiness. I look down at Viang, curled up sleeping at my feet, twitching slightly in its dreams, then breathing peacefully again. Outside, the city remains noisy, but for me, just seeing it safe and serene makes all my weariness disappear. From a chained, abandoned puppy in the park, Viang has found its home. And I too have found in its bright eyes a love without conditions, a love that only the purest hearts can give.